For Reaper Metal Productions, I am Adam of Unbaptized Records, making a brand new video for you today. Today is my last part in my 5-part series going over my Guilty Pleasures Metal Edition. Today I have a few more releases in one band that I have 4 CDs of, so I'll show that last. But as I said in the previous videos, I just started a membership for this YouTube channel. There's 3 tiers. You can see it in the description section. It shows you what all 3 tiers are, what you get. So the top tier per month, you're going to get an exclusive weekly video that no one else will be able to see unless you're a member. And on the second tier, you're going to get the exclusive shorts. So I'm going to try to do those at least once a week as well. And then the bottom tier, you get like member shout outs and exclusive badges. And I'm eventually going to upload maybe some exclusive images that you can use, the little GIFs or little icons and shit. So if that's something you're interested in, specifically in order to help support my label, really, it's not something you have to do. I imagine most people probably aren't interested in giving me money. That's perfectly fine. There's no reason to. You still get the daily videos. The only reason to is if you're a super fan of myself and this channel and you want to see it continue to grow, and especially my label, it's going to be a lot easier to help support it. So buying the music I got, the Reaper Metal music I have, so those 10 CDs and 2 LPs, which I have 2 of each left, the Sonic Bullet and Lady Beast Omens. Those are selling really cheap too, so if you want to grab them, I think I said $12 for the LPs, and I noticed Sonic Bullet sells for like $29 on Discogs, so you're getting a really good deal, and I only have 2 left. So just help support the channel, and you could technically donate too through my PayPal, although I don't really recommend it. You might as well try to get something. And I will say, whenever you buy music from me, you almost always get some sort of bonus. I absolutely hate just sending out a CD by itself, at least stickers. Last person who bought 2 CDs got 2 extra free CDs, a 7-inch, and a couple of stickers. So, I mean, I sent them probably more than they even paid me for. So, I definitely don't like giving people just what they ordered. I always like to throw in more. So if you're a fan of that kind of stuff, order from me. I'm going to start, I have a Discogs page you can buy some stuff from, although I don't have a ton on there. Or direct message me through PayPal. And then I'm also eventually going to do a Bandcamp or whatever. So, but at least for the time being, that's what I have just to get my label funded. And then once that's up off the ground, that'll be really exciting. I have a few releases already planned. So here is part 5, the last part of my Guilty Pleasures Metal Edition, now that I got all the intro crap out of the way. And the first band, I have all 4 of their albums, but I only brought the first one with me, and that is the band The Faceless. This is a band that I've brought up before. It's kind of hard to exactly put them in a genre. I guess if I had to throw them in a genre, I would probably say technical deathcore. So that's where the guilty pleasure part comes into play. I don't know if you would actually consider them that. Maybe you'd say technical death metal. They do have some sort of, I guess, kind of clean parts, although the vocals that are clean are kind of overlaid with audio effects. So it's sort of like, not pitch shifted, but it just sounds kind of different, and it's kind of the clean vocals. And the music's a little weird. I kind of grew away from it after these years. The first album here is pretty good. I definitely like some of the music on here, but I haven't listened to a ton of it recently. And then the second album, I think it's called Planetary Duality, is pretty good. It has one song that some of the riffs they directly ripped off Phantom of the Opera, but it sounds really cool in it. I mean, admittedly so. I don't think they're trying to hide that. And then the third album, there's one song I like a lot. It's called In Solitude. I love that song, but everything else is kind of dumb, and it's kind of getting a little preachy and whatever. So I'm not a huge fan of it, but I definitely enjoyed it a bit, especially back in the day. So that's kind of the theme with a lot of the stuff. Haven't listened to it a ton recently, but definitely falls into the guilty pleasures because people, and for whatever it's worth, just going to throw it out there, people say I'm, a J-Dog Part 2, which I don't believe, and I don't see the relationship at all. But you think J-Dog's listening to The Faceless? Fuck no, he's not. How about previous video, Slayer, God Hates Us All? I highly doubt it. Avenged Sevenfold? Nope, don't think so. So, this is stuff that I'm being completely honest that I listen to and enjoy. So, I don't know. People who are saying that, I think, just are drawing unnecessary relations between the two of us. And yeah, we upload a video every day and talk about metal. That's pretty much where the similarities start and end, which is fine, because why would you want to have 2 channels uploading every single day talking about the same thing with the same personalities? That doesn't make any sense. So, not that it's not flattering or whatever to be considered similar. I'm just saying, just stating the facts that, we're not similar. So, at least not in our music tastes, and actually a lot of other personal opinions. I mean, I pretty much disagree with him on a lot of stuff, but that's fine. Again, is what it is. Hopefully you're watching this because this is different, not because it's the same. Next, we have probably the least likely to be considered a guilty pleasure, but I'm throwing it on here anyways, and that's the band Quiet Riot. So I think I did show off, A to Z. Showed off their LP. This is their greatest hits. It's kind of corny. I guess that's the only reason, especially for the younger people to listen to. I mean, if you grew up with this band, you're not considering it a guilty pleasure at all. You're probably considering it one of the greats, one of the things that you would rather have people listen to rather than some of the other bands I mentioned. That makes perfect sense. I personally don't really see anything wrong with it, but I know some people might throw it in the category of sort of like the glam or hair metal of the era. I don't really think so. But even so, I mean, this is one of the few bands of that style I do even like. I think I mentioned in the previous video, most of that 70s, 80s, and 90s hair metal, glam metal shit, I don't like at all. I mean, I'm not listening to Motley Crue, not listening to Def Leppard, not listening to Rat or Poison. Well, the German Poison, yes, but not the American one. Thin Lizzy, Whitesnake, stuff like that. I mean, great if you like it because you probably grew up with it. That's fine, but I'm not a fan, so that's about as close as you get. Quiet Riot and Twisted Sister. So, again, probably not technically a guilty pleasure, but throwing it in there anyways. Alright, second to last is a band I have mentioned before, and I actually have a patch of this band with this particular logo. But, again, it's one of those types of, one of the subgenres that is not often listened to in the extreme metal scene, and that is the band Fintroll, with an album I probably can't pronounce, so I'm not going to really try, but that's okay. I pretty much like everything by the band. I heard them first in high school, and I've pretty much liked them ever since. One of the fewer bands in this list that I've mentioned I listened to since high school, so about 20 years ago now, and I still genuinely enjoy. Some of these I did fall off because it's sort of the gateway stuff, and I just kind of got bored with it because there was so much other stuff out there that I like more. I still own the music, I just don't listen to it much, but Fintroll is awesome. I do still listen to them, I do still like them. I do like folk metal, I like power metal, as you will see with the next band here. So it kind of falls under the guilty pleasures as well, but I think that more people should probably give it a shot, especially if you've been in the scene now 20 plus years. You love the staples, you love death metal, black metal, thrash metal, and a little bit of heavy metal. Give something like this a shot. Like, just expand a little bit. You're not expanding to the point where you're listening to old school metalcore, like a band I mentioned in the previous video, like Avenged Sevenfold. It's not that deplorable, but stuff like Fintroll, Corporal Kalani, I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. I've mentioned Ailstorm. I've mentioned Encephalum, like shit like that. Like, it's not that bad, and especially if you like old school heavy metal, it's basically that, but just singing about trolls and dragons and shit, which, I mean, that's kind of cool, I guess. I mean, it's something different, too. It's not just about the devil or singing about axe murderers, so it's kind of something different to listen to. And then last but not least is a band that is very similar to the vibe, but maybe less so on people's likely to listen to list, and that is the band Dragon Force. I'm actually a huge fan of Dragon Force, specifically their first 4 albums, which I own all 4, because after this, if you don't know, they changed singers. So, it doesn't sound much different, I think, to most people, but to me, it sounds different enough where I'm not a fan. So I own all 4 of those albums. I've listened to a few after that, a few songs on each. Just didn't really like it. The singer didn't change much, but just enough where it was noticeable for me. That's why I gave up on it. I'm sure they're probably still okay to see live. And a lot of people, especially around, I think it was like 2008, there was the game Guitar Hero, 3rd version specifically, where the song Through the Fire and the Flames was the ending song, and it was really, really hard. And that's how a lot of people heard of the band. Luckily, I heard about them maybe a year or 2 before that, and I've liked them ever since. But I definitely recommend checking it out. Again, it's like the vibe of like Halloween, but maybe a little dorkier. I don't see anything wrong with that. It gives you something a little bit different to listen to. If you're tired of listening to just the most brutal of brutal death metal and the war metal and extreme stuff, which I love too, this is a nice break from it. So I'd say it's at least worth giving a shot. And as I've said before in the videos talking about my guilty pleasures, it's fine if you don't like this stuff. That's why it's in this type of video. But I would at least implore you to listen to a song or two. Specifically, even off the albums I showed, if I'm talking about these bands, Because if you're going, well, I'm not going to like it. Definitely not going to like it. It's stupid. This guy sucks. Whatever. Okay, fine. That's your opinion. But at least listen to a song or two to get an idea of what it actually sounds like if you've never listened to it before. And you might be 100%, yeah, I thought I wasn't going to like it. I listened to it and I didn't like it. Sure, fine. That's great. But you at least listen to it. If you're going to come here and say it sucks without even listening to it, that's fine, but then I can't really take your opinion that seriously because you're not even bothering. I mean, granted, some of these songs are long, but pick a 3 or 4 minute song, listen to it, and then make your decision. It's not that hard. You don't have to. That's just my opinion. I don't like doing that. I used to do that. I used to say stuff sucked before I actually listened to it, or movies sucked before I even saw them. So if you're going to have that opinion, I'd say at least back it up by listening to a song or two. That's all I have to say, but as far as I can tell, I've scoured my CD collection. I've showed you all of my metal guilty pleasures, and I have an entire bag full of non-metal guilty pleasures that I will show you in the next few videos.